Hey friends, honeycomb cake is a popular sweet treat. The recipe I'm sharing today is an oven recipe without eggs. In this video, I make 2 cake variations. Be sure to stay until the end of the video where I share tips and tricks to help you make this delicious cake successfully. Enjoy! For the ingredients have active dry yeast, sugar, warm water, rice flour, tapioca starch, coconut milk, pandan paste, and vegetable oil. In a small bowl, add the active dry yeast, sugar, and warm water. The water should be 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit to activate the yeast. Stir together to moisten the yeast. Let rest for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, the mixture should double in size and become foamy, indicating the yeast is active. Add the rice flour and tapioca starch into a large bowl. Add the warm water. Again, this is 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Mix together until the batter is smooth and free of lumps. This is an optional step. Strain the batter to remove any lumps. Add the activated yeast to the batter. Mix together, combining everything well. Cover with a lid or plastic wrap. Transfer to a warm place and let rest for an hour to an hour and a half. I'm using my oven and I've turned on the oven light to generate heat. The ideal temperature is 85 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. After the resting period, the batter should increase in volume about 1.5 times. In a microwavable cup or bowl, add the coconut milk and sugar. Combine together, dissolving the sugar. Microwave on high for 45 seconds. Add the pandan paste to the coconut syrup and mix well. You can use any extract, flavoring, or food coloring you like. Optionally, use fresh pandan juice. The batter's been resting for the last hour, and on top is a thick layer of foam. Add the pandan coconut syrup and then mix together. Cover the batter and let rest on the counter for 15 minutes. The heating element for my oven is on the top. I've positioned my oven rack at the lowest setting. For this first cake, I'm using a 9-inch non-stick tube pan. Place the cake pan into the oven. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. When the oven comes to temperature, stir the batter one more time. Remove the hot pan from the oven and brush with vegetable oil. Use a generous amount and coat the pan well. Pour the batter into the pan. Place into the oven and bake. Within 5 to 10 minutes, the batter should start bubbling. It's these bubbles coming to the surface that create the honeycomb effect. After 15 to 20 minutes, the top should start to look solid. Now cover the cake with foil. Continue baking for another 25 to 30 minutes. Test the cake is done by inserting a toothpick. Once removed, no batter should stick to it. The total baking time is 45 to 50 minutes. Remove the cake from the oven and let cool for 15 minutes. Using a spatula, gently separate the cake from the pan. Transfer the cake onto a wire cooling rack. Let the cake cool for another 15 to 20 minutes. Let's have a look. I let the cake cool completely so it's easier to cut. All the bubbles in the batter was a good sign the cake would have these beautiful striations. This honeycomb cake is deliciously spongy and chewy. The cake is soft and moist and similar to the steamed honeycomb cake. Since it's baked, it has just a slight crust. Another option is to bake the cake in a round pan. Here I'm using an 8-inch round by 3-inch high aluminum pan. The same steps apply for preparing the pan and transferring the batter. Bake this cake for 35 to 40 minutes or until the top starts to brown. Cover with foil and then bake for another 50 to 60 minutes. Because this cake is thick and pretty dense, it does take a while to bake. Remove from the oven and let cool for 20 minutes. When hot, the cake is sticky and very difficult to remove from the pan. Don't rush the cooling process. Removing the cake too quickly could cause it to break. And there we have it, a beautiful thick cake with lots of honeycomb. Because this cake was baked longer, it has a thicker, chewier crust, very similar to the baked honeycomb cake made with eggs. Here are some tips and tricks to help you with this recipe. Use active dry yeast. It requires proofing but is a great way to make sure your yeast is alive. When working with yeast, I recommend checking the temperature for all liquids. The ideal temperature should be 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything over 130 degrees will kill the yeast and render your cake flat and without the honeycomb effect. A warm environment really helps to energize the yeast and could reduce the resting time to just 45 minutes. As I mentioned earlier, you can let the batter rest in the oven with the light on. Another trick is to place a pan of boiling water just under the batter. There are several checkpoints in this recipe to help guide your success. Number 1, the yeast becomes foamy, indicating it's active. Number 2, after resting, the batter increases in volume and is foamy. Number 3, bubbles form after the second rest period. Number 4, bubbles form within the first 10 minutes of baking. And number 5, little holes on the bottom of the cake are a good sign there's lots of honeycomb. This cake is best enjoyed the day it's made. For any remaining cake, cover well to prevent drying. Store at room temperature for 1 to 2 days. After this time, refrigerate for up to 1 week. To enjoy again, warm in the microwave or oven. Thanks so much for joining me. If you like this video, please give it your thumbs up. Hi, I hope you've enjoyed this easy how-to video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post below. For full recipes, check out RunAwayRice.com. I work on new recipes each week, so please subscribe to my channel to stay tuned. This is Trang wishing you good eating and good health. Thanks for watching.